And I've been telling everybody who's ever got into the space, you need to expect a 50% correction in a bull market, and you might see a 70% bear market. And over 5 years, you'll have still made more money than you could imagine. So you have to accept those things. So this thing starts tanking. Bitcoin starts first, then Ethereum rolls over later, and it's all down 50%. I've got this weight on my shoulders. I've got all of these people that have been following me. I have been telling them this, but it messes with your mind. And I pick out the one chart that matters to me, which is the adoption chart. Is anything that's going on with China and mining and this and that changing the adoption curve or not? No. So then, as you said, the relentless rise of technology continues. So la la la, I can't hear it. So I turn around to my wife and I'm like, it's fallen 50%, everybody's freaking out. And she just looked at me and goes, you are all so ridiculous. She said, you said you should expect this. Now it's happening, everybody's freaking out. And she just walked off and said, she just said, don't be stupid, and walked out of the room. And I'm like, yeah. Just, Twitter is somewhere, sometimes, or Reddit, or whatever forum you're on, is sometimes your enemy. And sometimes you just need to turn that off. Now, it's been the same with investing in Amazon. Like, the reason Bezos is so wealthy is because he was probably one of the only people in the world who had Amazon shares from the beginning and never sold them. Because it went down 95% in 2001 too. It's had several 60% falls. And it still made him the richest man in the world. This is what exponentiality looks like. And for people who are a little more savvy, there's a magic trick to everything to keep your sanity in this, because this stuff goes like this, and then it does this, and you'll see there's like free charting almost on every platform now, TradingView, something like that. Just change the scale to a log scale, logarithmic scale. And what you'll find is, like, you look at Facebook, it goes like this. You look at Amazon, it goes like this, right? And it always feels like, I can't buy this. This has gone up too much. That fear that you had at 52,000, right? But that's real. You change it to a log chart, and it's a beautiful trend. And you realize it's all noise. And yes, those movements can be 50%, 60%, but it's just moving in that lovely little trend. Facebook has done that since 2012, never deviated. Nor has Apple, nor has Microsoft, nor has Google. None of these have. Not even Tesla. And nor has Bitcoin, and nor has Ethereum. They're all network effects, and they're priced in the same way. They're all exponential in nature, which we can't get our heads around until you put it on a log chart, and it makes you calm down. So normally a scale would go like a Bitcoin chart. Well, because it starts really low, it might start at $10, and then it's got to go up to $65,000. So suddenly you're seeing a move, $1,000 move. It looks small, but before it was big. So what happens is it squashes the chart, because most of the price action has happened from, let's say, $10,000 to $65,000. So you keep getting this, looks like this all the time. So what a log chart does is change the scale where it doubles every measure. So it goes $10, $100, or it goes 10x, let's say. $10, $100, $1,000, $1 million. What that little trick does is smooth out all of this issue. So you'll get comfortable when you look at it, just to realize that, and look at the scale, look how it's changed versus the other scale. And you'll see from that, it basically compresses all of this. It's the same as if you used percentages. Because, a 5,000 point move now in Bitcoin is not the same as a 5,000 point move when it was at 5,000. It would have been 100%. And now it's not. Now it's like whatever it is today, 10%. So it's changing that. And that really, really, really helps. So I own a few properties myself, and I live in them. So I don't rent anything out. But, this is my bank, is lifestyle. So, and I like to live in nice places. So that I don't consider money that I'm investing or doing anything with. That's just buried in lifestyle. My shares in Real Vision, as an entrepreneur, they could be worth nothing. They could be worth gazillion. That's not part of it. So what really matters is your liquid net worth, the money that you've got available to invest. And I'm 100% in crypto. And I feel like I'm underexposed. So maybe I didn't start with enough cash that I should have had more in cash, as opposed to in real estate or whatever. But it's 100% and I feel massively underexposed. Now, why can I do 100%? Because I have income. I have numerous sources of income. So I've always got money coming in. If I lost, well, you're never going to lose 100% because I've got no leverage. So it could go down 80% and it'd be back to roughly where I bought it. So I'm kind of safe in this crypto space now. Can't really lose money. But I've got cash flow coming in. So even if I did lose it, it's not going to change my life. And in fact, cash flow coming in gives me an ability to buy at lower prices. So I'm structurally set up to take advantage of the biggest opportunity I've ever seen. And I'm comfortable with that. Now, I don't know what percentage of my total net worth it is, because I don't think of total net worth as total net worth, because those are things that are never going to change. My beach house in Little Cayman, do I sell it and buy something else? I'm not going to invest in something else with it. That is the answer. Lifestyle is the answer to everything, right? We don't do anything else for any other reason, I don't think, or you shouldn't. To be rich is not a future state. To have the lifestyle that you want is the future state, and that can be anything. You can live on a shack on a beach in Nicaragua and be the happiest man in the world. Go for that. So that's what I care about. But liquid net worth, yeah, everything, and I feel underinvested. I'm desperate to, waiting for the next quarter when more income comes in to put more in, because I feel underinvested at all times. That's how much conviction I have. I've never done that before, ever in my entire lifetime have I ever taken a bet like this. So if you think about Robinhood or any of these big IPOs that have just happened, what they're basically doing is there's a bunch of VCs who've made 1,000x, 100x, whatever the number is, and have got obscenely rich, investing in something that you're not allowed to invest in because of the law, because you're not an accredited investor. And in fact, the system's so set up that you're never, ever going to be shown this opportunity. And then, at the very end, when the asset's gone up so much, they then list it on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ and dump it on retail when the best gains have been had. Now, within that, there's always going to be an Amazon and a Microsoft and an Apple. But your chances of getting it at the higher price, so you're the 52,000 guy and not the averaging at 30,000, your probability of success is always lower than those guys. So the system is against you. In this, the institutions are being held back by regulation and can't do it. But we're not. And we know that they have a lot of money because it's actually our pensions. And so they're going to put our pensions in this in the end. Well, we might as well make money from them coming into the market later and driving up prices ridiculously, because that is what's going to happen. Once this ETF is listed, every RIA in America is going to be advising their clients to buy the Bitcoin ETF and the Ethereum ETF, and it'll drive another $500 billion of price appreciation. This is all coming, and it is the opportunity. And I've tried to set everybody up like you. I've had that sense of responsibility. Real Vision was about that, but it's also a subscription model. So I purposely give ridiculous amounts of information out on Twitter that's free. Subscription model is because I need to pay my staff and create a proper business that has value. But I give a much out on free. We give tons of stuff out on YouTube and tons of stuff out on the podcast. And then with crypto, I just thought, fuck it. We're going to give the whole thing away free. So kind of Real Vision Crypto is a free channel. We just said we're going to get sponsors from these big players because they're making tons of money, the exchanges and others. They can pay for everybody else to get access, so I can pay the staff for the crypto stuff, because it's that important to me. It's like, guys, I'm giving you everything you need. We do 5 interviews a week with everybody in the space.
And they're so good.
So there's no excuse not to educate yourself. It's all there. At first, you go in there and go, well, I don't know what this is all about. That's okay. You'll find the thing that interests you, and you'll find your way in, and then you'll go down the rabbit hole. But yeah, I passionately believe, that the future of everything is based around community. You have a community in what you do. I have a community around what I do. And part of community is the inherent inherent agreement that you're all in this together. I'm not going to be extractive of you, and you're not going to be extractive of me. But together, we can all benefit from being part of this community. Crypto is a community in its own right, and we're all benefiting from being part of that. We're all part of that community. But I think that that's why both you and I are very passionate believers in bringing everybody along for the ride, because everybody around us has enabled us too to build this amazing network and do all of these things. So everybody should share it. And this is something that you'll pick up from my interviews. I've been talking about a lot. All of this is going to get tokenized too. Culture is going to become an investment. The probability of there being a Tom coin within 5 years is something like 100%.